Wow. Okay, everyone. Hey, this will be week uh two meeting, right? For what's it, September 16th. So week two meeting for September 16th. Kind of the agenda. We're going to go over what we had for uh what we did, the playbook, um, things that we're going to be looking towards doing in practice next week, and any comments, questions, or concerns. All right. Just to note, I just came back from town. I'm really, don't have a lot of participation in this meeting right now, so I'm just going to make it kind of really short. But I have everyone muted at the moment. I will open it up for questions, comments, and concerns, but I'm just kind of want to lay this stuff out. What I look forward to seeing, what we look forward to seeing next weekend in practice, and our strategy going forward. So, real quick, based on the results, so we lost. It was I believe 14-8 for those who didn't know, who didn't come to the game. Let me see here. I believe I had that information. Where was that posted? Okay, I had it up here. All right, no, let me see here. Okay, so this is where we currently stand. As if we had playoffs today, we wouldn't qualify based on our loss. Looks like they're taking into account um, the margin of victory. Uh, okay, because as you can see, the 5 and 6 would have made it into the playoffs today, and they did not win. But I guess you can only have 4 winners anyway, right? So obviously, that'll change. Next week, who we're going against the 586ers. Just to go over their record, they did win. They won last week. They won by a margin of 7-0. So their opponent didn't score at all. So yes, that game will be at 7:30. So 7:30. So goal is to try to be there, by 6:30. For those who can, definitely no later than 7. We have to get, the seats, all the sheets signed. We'll try to bring those out in practice tomorrow. Another note: practice will be moved from 6:30 to 6:15. The location, as it currently stands, will be the same location, but we'll, instead of starting at 6:30 due to the time and the daylight requirements. I mean, I don't say requirements, but the daylight situation where we're losing daylight. We're going to go ahead and move that to 6:15 instead of 6:30, and we'll be adjusting that as necessary throughout the rest of the season. So that's that. So so this Thursday, 7:30 game, we're playing the 586ers. That's team 5, 7:30. Practice is on Tuesday. Same location, just moving it to 6:15. And I'm understanding for all of those who are not be able to make it right at 6:15, no problem. Just as long as you showed up, as long as we get the most people, maximum people possible to practice, that really helps. Focus will be defense. Um, that that'll be really our focus, defense. Probably adding a couple more plays, 2 more plays into the playbook, and with their 2 variations, so that'll be 4 total plays that'll be added to the playbook that I will draft up, and we'll go from there. So let's talk about play. So just do a recap of what we dealt with last week. This was the playbook right here that we had. So there was 5 total plays that were drafted, and their breakdowns are I can send those out as well. Their breakdowns. In fact, let me save this playbook first. Save the playbook, and let me see here. I'm gonna say the playbooks. Okay, so we got that for week 1 for historical records. I believe I sent in the WhatsApp group a breakdown of all of the plays and how they're designed. So it will be incumbent upon everyone, as you know, I will try to do my best ability to have plays, you know, by Wednesday the latest. We'll be going over the plays. If you come to practice, we'll definitely go over the plays as they are drafted. So plays will be drafted with a, you know, probably handwritten diagram as it was last week, and we will review and go over all the variations of the plays. We did that in practice. What happened is that we had people that, you know, showed up for practice, and those who didn't show up for practice on game day, and it was a slightly a miss of what was going on. So the, you know, and I'm not, you know, hey, that's just part of it, right? You know, been doing this for a couple of years. I don't anticipate that everyone's going to be at practice, you know, at all times, right? All the time. So what I'm going to do, trying to use some technology, right, is to have those plays available. Like I said, the diagram will be available a little later than Wednesday, prior to the day, as well as like player assignments. So hey, you know, I'm going to try to focus and get this as much as organized as possible. So, you know, we're going to go into having like roles. You know, not only will it be plays, we already have in our minds who's going to be playing as what. So you got to pay attention to personnel assignments and knowing what your responsibility is, can be during the play. So those will be sent, you know, that will be available, will be posted. I'll post them inside of the WhatsApp group as well as on our website. So that will be my commitment to you guys to do, you know, and helping us succeed, is to try to have this information out as quick as possible. But it'll be upon you guys to, like, you know, again, study the playbook and understand your role and function within that playbook. All right. With that being said, let's review what was the playbook. And I'm gonna do this really quickly, to be honest with you. I'm not going into any real big detail, because we're going to be taking the same plays and building upon going into the next week. So, you know, there was a total of 5 plays that we used. I believe we again, I sent out, let me go and looked at the diagrams of those plays. Samir was kind enough to go ahead and do that, and, you know, because he, you know, I give him big props to Samir for doing so, because, you know, if it had we not, I didn't have enough time to draw the plays that I wanted to be implemented. So let me go to my folder. Hopefully I can see in this folder, but they're added in here. I will also make sure that everyone has access to the folder, and then I'm going to create a page as well to where they could be viewed. Nope, not in this. Let me switch my. Hey guys, I need you all to be quiet. Be quiet. That's when, not be loud. Don't say nothing. Oh, Mr. L. Bear with me. I'm logging into the account so you can actually see the diagrams. But they should also be in the if you want to scroll all the way back. Yeah, that's mine, man. So, just for those who may or may not know, you know, exactly, and the reason why I'm going over this for you to say, hey, you know, I saw the plays, but I really didn't know what was going on. You know, So the 4 plays are listed again. I put photos on all of these, but it's pretty good instructions, giving some information. So that's what will be kind of like going forward. We'll have the plays listed as well as kind of like a diagram, outline of how the play, things in the play or what have you. Now, we may or may not keep to this numbering system as explaining how to explain the play. But again, the big difference is that, it will be colors. Colors will be the, ultimately how they will be presented in the playbook, not this way, because it's not really, easily transferable to the tool to do it with numbers. There's no way possible to do it with numbers. So, going forward, I'll work with Samir and Santos on, say, hey, can you make your descriptions more based off the color system that we have? Because it would be a set color system. So to speak about that, that's another thing, which I've talked about in previous meetings, that we do have a color system based on how our plays are designed. All right. And also how they're laid out in the play. So I'm gonna refer to the card that's in the sleeve. Those are play cards. So each card has ability to have 8 plays on the front, on the surface of the card. Now in the sleeve, you have 2 visible plastic sleeves that you can insert multiple. You can insert play cards into. So the maximum amount of cards that could be inserted that could be seen visibly will be a total of 3, because you can have front to back on the first sleeve, on the first flap, and in the inside flap there's a sleeve, and you can also have another card located inside there. So that gives you a maximum of 28 plays. You got 4, 4, 4, 4. 4 times. Sorry, 3 times 8 is 24. Correct. So we'll gradually build upon, increase our play selection and variety, but I kind of want to go slow. Slow and steady. But it's better to really be good at what fundamentally, than to just add a bunch of variety and a bunch of stuff, and you're kind of haphazard. So that'll be my offensive philosophy, is to increase the amount of plays that we go into, and go covering in practice, and also what we execute. Now, there is please review the play legend, and this is all explained in this document here that's available on the website, which I've already included that URL into the web page. But I'll do it. I'm sorry, in the WhatsApp group, I'll do that again. So the way it's listed here, the first row, right? Row across, right? So you have rows and you have columns. You have the numbers will be the columns, and obviously the rows are to the left. They're listed as colors. So the first row on the first sleeve, on the front portion of the sleeves, as if the flap was closed. Okay, you would be only seeing the first play card, which so that first row would be called blue, and then subsequently there'll be a number. So blue 1, blue 2, blue 3, blue 4. All right. And then subsequently as well, you have the next row that will be called white. We'll denote that second row as white, and then it'll follow. And in this case, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. But in when we print them up, it actually labels it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the next row will be white 5, white 6, white 7, white 8, so on and so forth. So for each row, there will be obviously a color associated with that, along with the number for the actual play. So if someone yelled out, or so from the sideline, held up W3, we know that that's the third row. Or I'm sorry, not W3, it'll be W7. So W and the number 7, it's the third. It's the third play on the second row, right? And then we also will have red. We also have red, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then gold. Okay, this is the second play card, right? The second play card, which would be on the inside of the flap, right? It would be visible. So imagine you're open the flap open. Now you see the the second card that's up against the first card when it's closed, right? That second card, that won't be red. Excuse me, guys, I need you all to be quiet. So that'll be red, and then it'll be gold. And then if we end up adding a third row, then I'll make adjustments as far as which card will be with what color and so on and so forth, right? So that's how the cards, how the plays will be denoted on the sleeves, and so also that'll be how we'll denote when what play to go to, right? And I want to keep that as much as possible, that order. Please, I need you to be quiet. So, sorry about that, guys. We all got kids, man. What else? All right. So, actually, just based on my situation, I'm not going to go over the whole playbook. It's there. The playbook will be there. I will update it on the one we went over last week, and then so by Wednesday, what will happen is I'll also put it in our WhatsApp group. I'll put it in our WhatsApp group. In our on our webpage, there will be, each week we'll have the playbook, right? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to add the one from week one, but I will add the one from week one here on this page. Also, I will put the playbook that we're going to be using going into in week two and the subsequent weeks. They will be on this page, and also I will also insert them into the WhatsApp group as well. So that'll be that. The key things to note, basically moving forward, is that calls will be called in from the sideline. They will be called in from the sideline. The quarterback will have the option to option out of the play and maybe go to a different play based off of what he sees, but it's going to be called from the sideline. Just want to keep the pace and tempo of the play or what have you, or the game, situational as well, based on down and distance and what I see. I'm not going to be playing in the offense. I'm going to let that roll be for you guys, but I do kind of want to have a certain philosophy. One of my philosophies will be is that we're going to utilize the run and short passes. So that is the philosophy that I would like to use, and then defense by far will be our main, bread and butter. Stop them, slow down the clock, run the ball, positive gains. Just classic conservative, nothing fancy football. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the approach that I would like to take. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's I feel that we can definitely be make positive gains, because we don't really have a lot of time. We only have one day out of the week to practice. And then some people aren't even available for practice. So to get the chemistry of throwing long bombs and all of that, that takes time. That's timing, so on and so forth. I'm looking at, hey, we got to move the ball. We get 4 chances to move the ball 20 yards. Hey, a 5-yard play, 6-yard play, that's 12, right? I'm sorry, that's 11. Then so that'll be third down and 9, or just 6-7-yard plays. Hey, as long as we're third and short. Third and short is the game in football. Classic. Third and short. You below 5 yards for a third down, you're doing very well versus you're freaking behind the sticks. So snapping the ball, I know that was an issue last week, but I think that was really more had to do with the conditions, and that was another thing too. We really shouldn't have been throwing the ball as much based on those rainy conditions. We should have been running the ball much more than what we did. And also, we don't have a lot of timing, to, like I said, it's not like we have a long time to build chemistry between the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. So short, dump off passes, short, using the quarterback to utilize the ball, running the ball, to get gangs, slowing the clock down and preventing them from scoring, and making sure that we maximize all of our potential, all of our chances and all of our possessions. I want to say, overall, I think out of that whole game, we may have had 4 possessions, and I believe one of those possessions because of a turnover, right? So So again, maximizing our possessions, forward momentum, making sure that we are trump type on defense. We're going to be playing zone between the 20s, but within the 20s, within the red zone, we're going to go to man. I believe that's probably the best thing, and if we need to go to man even earlier than that, so be it. All right, but we're really going to focus on zone defense, and defense coming in. Probably half of practice will be, if not maybe even more so than half, maybe 60% of practice will be working on defense, defensive drills, working on defense. But it'll be also pretty much, again, it's imperative that we get enough guys so we can run a defense, because so far in practice, we really haven't had enough guys to truthfully run a defense against. But so it would be, so we at least we could get enough guys to do that. Optimum would be, again, wow, 16 guys, right? We don't necessarily have to have 16, but definitely, let's say we have 4 guys on offense and then we have 8 guys on defense, right? We could have everybody run zone and and just have enough guys on offense to where you have a receiver, a center, a running back, and a quarterback, right? Something to that nature, right? But we need to have enough people to show up on practice so we can effectively run practice, and create realistic scenarios so that we could take into the game. So that's that. At this point, guys, I think I've kind of covered all of the things that I wanted to cover. I'm going to unmute everyone, and hey, you guys, give me what you want to see, what you think, if you have an issue with anything I said, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So hold on, let me unmute everybody. Unmute all. Okay. All right. I'll leave the floor to everyone.
Yo, this is Alex.
Hey, Al.
So after last week, I'm thinking we should change the defense to do a modified man, where we have 4 corners playing man on the outside receivers, 2 guys rushing, and then 1 linebacker playing spy and 1 safety playing spy.
Okay.
That way we
All
can
right.
have 2 guys rush. We got someone playing QB contain at linebacker. And then we got a safety playing anything deep over top. Don't let anything behind you. And then we got man on all the receivers.
Okay. All right. That sounds pretty good right there. Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with whatever defensive philosophy you want to take, Al, and hopefully that's something I would like to kind of play out in practice if we can. So
Sure. I mean, I think man's a better option, but the reason I didn't switch to man at the game was if you switch to man, you can't rush 2 guys.
Right.
So
right.
I think this option where we play 4 guys at man and then 2 guys rushing is the best option, because then we can put some pressure on the quarterback, but we still have that man aspect. So we'll give it a try.
So and then could you kind of, if you can, you've kind of seen guys, at least in game time, can you call out who you want those 4 guys to be? In essence, you want them to be cornerbacks, right? You want to be DBs, playing man on receivers. So could you at least call those guys out, and so I can have that information out so the guys know what they'll be playing, and hey, give me your primaries and then your secondaries. If you have any issue with names, with faces and everything, I kind of again included that in our home page, I believe. Well, no, I think I want to say
right.
offense.
Yeah.
I
know
again, you should have the picture that has everyone's name, and I'm gonna update that too because I need to add Rivera. But this kind of shows us everyone's name, or what have you. Right.
Yeah, I can
So
do that.
everyone's
I'll
name
bring
and
that
picture is
tomorrow.
right. Okay. All right. No problem. And like I said, I need to update it, but I'll have it updated by
right.
no later than the morning time tomorrow.
I mean, I
Anyone
can
else?
throw out right now who I want my starting corners to be.
Yes.
We got to decide what we want to do for QB spy at linebacker, and then the safeties, because those got to be the smartest guys out on the defense.
Roger that. No
Because they're the
problem.
ones that be making the decisions, right? It's gonna be easy to play man.
Right.
So.
Okay. Alrighty. Anything else anyone wants to add or bring up or talk about that I didn't cover, or anything that I covered that you had a question or issue with?
Offensively, going forward, are you gonna have like I don't know how much you want to do, kind of like a two quarterback thing, or if you want to just stay with one. But to me, the offense looked different when Abdullah came in last week. I mean, Santos. I mean, he did a good job as well, but I can't ignore the fact that the offense looked different when Abdullah came in.
Roger. Um, yeah, we're going to definitely utilize multiple quarterbacks based off the situation and what kind of like we'll build it around the strengths or what have you, and that kind of goes back to the offensive coordinators and myself, instituting plays and packages. So like for me, my philosophy is this: in a play, there's three things to consider. One is the formation. Two is the actual route, like the route of all the players that belong in that formation. And three, the thing is to consider is the personnel package of the personnel package of that formation, right? So those are all the three things that have to be considered when you're talking about, hey, this is a play, you know. Um, so with that being said, and then also I guess even a fourth, right? The condition of when you would when would you put that player? When did you would execute that play? At what point in time in the game do you want to execute that play? Like again, how many yards are you trying to gain, or what situation is in the game is that play going to be most apt to be used? So those are kind of like almost like again, that's actually 4 or 5 considerations to be put into play. My goal is by the going into the second game, right? We're gonna have a play sheet. We're gonna have down and distance. You know what I'm saying? All of that kind of laid out. Personnel package as well. So you know what I mean. How I'm gonna denote that personnel package, not really for sure as of right now. But when hey, we got this particular play. Okay, so B1 is this. I'm sorry, blue one is this. White 8 is this. Red 4 is this. Gold 8 is this, you know what I mean? With that is, hey, this is the personnel package for, you know what I mean? So for each play, there may be a personnel package that's situated, you know what I'm saying? But it also depends on like who's there. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing. Like everybody's not gonna. So we had like 3 guys that didn't show up or wasn't able to play. You know what I mean? And that's no fault. And I'm not. Believe me, when I say that, I'm not placing any blame on anyone, because that was the purpose of me having 16 guys, right? It was to be able to do that. So may have think, okay, this play I have these amount of people in mind, right? But let's say that one, whoever your running back for that play that you had in mind, let's say for instance it was Omar, but Omar can't make it because he had work, or something happened. You got to go help out his mom or his brother or whatever, right? Well, secondary in that lineup is going to be Abdullah. You know what I mean? So hey, or you can say, hey, maybe I have, Muhammad. Muhammad, I got you in mind for being running back in this play, right? You know what I'm saying? So if that is the case, then so here's the thing: your color is, so you just change the color. So there's two things that you could denote with that, right? So if I have a personnel package, right, based on I want this person here, this person here, this person here in this particular play, then then what will happen is that the play will be laid out with your color, because your primary color, I want to say, is like purple. I think I would have you as a slot. Well, I'm sorry, not purple, but I believe it's orange or something, right? I believe I
Yeah.
have you as a slot receiver, right? So slot receivers are orange. You know what I mean? And so many people are playing, hey, your primary is slot receiver. You know what I mean? So if I have a play, hey, I want you in it, then, we're going to call, all the players that are laid out or in this package. And then, you know what I mean? If that person isn't there, then the next person up that's in that plays that role would just fulfill in that place. So we're gonna have it all laid out, man. That's definitely, I think that's really not that hard to really, institute what the be, as far as the method to the madness or what have you. But that's how I envision going forward, how these things are going to be done. You know what I mean? How we're going to do it. My goal is by Thursday, all that's going to be kind of laid out. We're going to talk about it this Tuesday. We're going to go over the plays, and we're going to kind of like how we did last week, where we had the plays kind of like diagrammed out. Any side note information, we'll do it that way. Wednesday, they'll be inside of the book. I'm sorry, they'll be inside the tool and in the play card, and that'll be presented for everybody. who wasn't able to show up to practice, and then Thursday we execute. That's how I envision it to go and to work in the upcoming weeks. So hopefully that answered your question. Um, are are there any other questions or comments or concerns? I know Mark, you joined the call. Thank you for joining. You have anything you want to say or talk about?
I can feel it. No, it's looking pretty good. Um, Fortunately, I got to work Tuesday late, so I'm probably not going to be able to make it to practice, unfortunately.
Okay, that's all right. All right.
But
That's
that's about
cool.
it.
All right, but okay. So on game day though, because that's another thing too. So for those who can't make it on Tuesday, and we don't have enough people to make it on Tuesday, then the other
Mm-hmm.
option is that we show up earlier so we can at least go over all of this on Thursday. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like key things. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
How would you be able to? How early are you able to show up on Thursday on the day of, since you're not able to show up on Tuesday
I
for
can show up
practice?
pretty early.
All right, I mean like 6 o'clock, something like that. Like is it 6:30? What would that be too early for you or?
No?
Okay, all right. So okay, so going forward, I guess what we'll also do, and we'll be try to make it to where like for those who can't show up to practice on Tuesday for whatever reason, 6 o'clock is the no thrills, a no BS. We're going to try to commit ourselves to be there at that. What I'm saying, kind of, it'll be more of a walkthrough than necessarily a practice. I don't want to wear anybody out before we play. Right? We
Yeah.
don't have any six. If I'm correct, let me look at the schedule. Look at the schedule. We do not play at 6:30 at all. So we're number 6. Yeah. So week 3 we're playing at 7:30. Week 4 we're playing at 8:30. Week 5 we're playing at 9:30. Week 6 we're playing at 7:30. So we don't have any. So all truthfulity, what I'm saying, we get there at 6. That's still like our earliest game is 7:30. So our games are between 7:30 9:30 for the rest of the schedule. So
Mm-hmm.
between 6 and 6:30, you know what I'm saying, on Thursdays we can kind of try to get every hopefully that should be the day that we get most people available because that's game day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So we could all commit to at least showing up at 6 o'clock on Thursday. Then we can do another run through. You know what I mean?
Yep.
For those who weren't able to show up on Tuesday, or for those who did show up on Tuesday as well, have another opportunity to go through it if they have any questions or anything like that. So, all right, guys, is that it for everyone that's on the call so far? Okay, I believe so. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. So, all right, we wrapped up before 8 o'clock, so that's good. Give you back 11 minutes. All right, thanks, guys. See you all tomorrow. Again, it's 6:15, same location.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
See you, Gerard.
All right, brother. See you.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.